sows generously will also reap generously. Now, all my life, I've looked at this verse and seen it as a threat. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. But it's not a threat. This verse is a promise. And whoever sows generously will also reap generously. It is a challenge and a promise. Now, those who sow sparingly still reap, but those who sow generously reap generously. That first generously, I've only got 24 hours in my day, and I've really only got this many that I can really give anywhere. I've got this much money at my disposal, and I can really only spare this much of it. But if I'm generous, I could maybe give, you know what generously looks like for you. But that second generously, the generously that we reap and that gets given to us, is God's generously. And like I said, that's the God who's able to do immeasurably more than all we could ever ask or imagine. Now, I've got a good imagination. I read Dr. Seuss, okay? When I was growing up, I read Dr. Seuss. I can imagine myself some stuff, okay? But God is able to do immeasurably more than that, and He wants to. Remember, life to the full that He wants to give you? So, my deal finders, this is the best deal ever. You give your little generously. That's all you can do, and God gives you His generously that you're going to have to find a way to contain. So, persist. Now, I know and God knows that it's a lot easier for me to get up here and tell you to sow generously than it is for you to actually do that. It's not going to be easy, okay? Because your generously is still your generously. It still costs you something. But we have to go back to that promise. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. We can't let ourselves become bored of being the good kids. We can't let ourselves feel lame because we didn't hit that rebellious spurt like everyone else around us is going through, and it looks like it's crazy times. We can't let ourselves become weary because our testimony is boring. I have been there. People in youth group or church or whatever are giving their wild testimonies of when they were on drugs and when they were with this guy and he beat me and now I found Jesus. Okay, that's not boring. You know, your testimony in comparison to theirs is not boring. It's hope. It's hope. That person sees your testimony, the person with the crazy testimony that you, in an odd way, are like, why am I jealous of that testimony? Their life is so bad. That person sees your testimony as hope because your testimony is the one they want their kids to be saying when their kids grow up. They don't want their kids to get up and also have this testimony of like, hey, I was on drugs too. Their parents are like, no, I want you to get up there and be the kid that's like, I walked with God all my life. I never walked away from Him, and He's done this and this and this through me because I sowed generously and I reaped generously. So, we have to hold on to that promise. At the proper time, we will reap. And we will reap the perfect harvest that God has for us. We have to trust in those times of waiting that God is using the wait to prepare us for something more than we could have asked or imagined. So, tonight, the cry of our heart should be, I don't have this scripture, but it's from Psalm 130. I wait for the Lord. My soul waits, and in His word I put my hope. Okay, so that's the posture that we're looking for tonight, is God, I will wait for you. My soul will wait for you, and I will put my hope in your promise that if I sow generously, I will reap generously and at the proper time. So, I ran kind of late, but I do have just a few questions that I want us to just take a minute and think about individually. I just want us to think in these next few minutes, evaluate ourselves before we leave this place, before this stops feeling so fresh. What have I been pleasing? Flesh or spirit? What have I been putting first? And then, where will I choose to sow this year? It's a new slate, clean slate, new beginning. Where are you going to sow this year? And then, are you bold enough to sow generously? All out for God. And then just a little bit after that, so don't waste time, just kidding. So just a little bit after that, we'll split into our groups. Just as a time for you to share, if you're comfortable, and have that accountability. Hey, I am choosing to sow generously and to the Spirit of God this year. You know? And then even to get practical help, what does that look like? The people in your group, if you're wondering, the leaders that are there, they're going to be able to tell you. They're going to give you practical things that you can do that will help you not to get discouraged and just spin your wheels in the mud. So let's just take a few minutes and just really reflect on this.